I think it sounds a little bit ridiculous for me to say I just didn't have time to make a video, but lately it's been that way. I've sort of got a list of things that I want to make videos about, but I've been so busy that I can't seem to pick up a camera and do it. So today I'm going to catch y'all up a little bit, and I'm going to start with this old tractor. This is the tractor that Rusty Acres brought me from Florida. It's a 1939 Ford I almost said F9, but that's not right. It's a 9N. It's the I believe that's the first year they made this tractor. It's an old flathead 4-cylinder. These things last forever, and they're wonderful machines. When he brought this up here, it had 2 flat tires on it, and that can be pretty problematic because there is some big tires to try to change. And me and Rusty got the front one to hold air, and this back one on the other side was still flat. And me and Bobby and Bill all spent a day wrestling that off the wheel. And Bobby bought a new tube, and then he got sick, and he's been sick for a while. I guess I forgot to tell you that Rusty gave me this tractor, and I gave it to Bobby with the agreement, at least on my part, that I'd help him get it going, get it fixed up. So I did, and some of the things you've seen and some you haven't. The back tire, Bill was gone, Bobby was sick, and I didn't want to wrestle it on there by myself, so I took it to tire store, and the guy said, I'll put the tube in it, but I won't pump it up because I believe that tire would explode. It's so old and rotted. And I said, well, that's fine. You do that and I'll pump it up. And I did. I put 20 pounds of air pressure in it, and it's fine. And the seat was rusted off of it. And Bill, a while back, had me, well, actually, he cut the bottom out of a barrel. He had a 55-gallon drum, and he cut the bottom out of it because he wanted to make a burn barrel. And of course, we had the bottom of the barrel sitting around here. So I took the bottom of the barrel and I welded it along the edge of the old seat. So this old seat is rusted out in the middle, but the bottom of this barrel is welded on here. I didn't make it pretty because I'm pretty sure he'll wind up buying a new seat, but it gave us something for someone to sit on so we could move it. So yesterday, Bill was over here, and we hooked my tractor to this tractor, and Bill steered it and worked the brakes, and we pulled it out here. And one of the things we did while we were doing that is we took the plugs out, and all these plugs came out really very easily, which was a good sign. And I squirted a little oil down in each one of these, little Marvel Mystery Oil. By the way, we marked the plug wires when we did it. And I had him put it in 3rd gear, and I pulled it with my tractor, and she spun over very freely. So she's not locked up or anything like that. The oil is clean. Rusty said something about not knowing if there were antifreeze in it or not, and I couldn't. There is a drain petcock on the other side of the radiator, but it was pretty hard to get to, so I just decided, well, I don't know, and I'll leave that up to Bobby to figure out. So I believe it wouldn't take much to get this running. This tractor has been converted to a 12-volt system. The reason I know that is because it has this alternator on it. So a lot of times what I think about is whether or not if I put a 12-volt battery in a 6-volt, it will burn up the condenser in the distributor or the coil or whatever. And since this one's already been converted, then I'm not worried about any of that. So anyway, we pulled it out here. Here's another thing I didn't make a video about. I ordered one of these solar security lights, and there's no wires involved. The sun charges it. The light comes on during the night, and if somebody walks near it, it becomes very bright. So I thought, well, it'd be kind of nice to have the tractor sitting out here at the edge of the property because it's pretty, and it can stay here till Bobby gets here. Also, Rusty has a grill for this, so he's going to be sending us the grill. And he said he had some other parts that he would donate to the project, carburetor maybe, and a distributor cap and some things like that. I believe that tractor is going to be a runner. So we'll see. I'm not going to take away Bobby's joy by getting it started myself. I'm going to leave him the fun of getting to hear it start for the first time. So that's one thing that I didn't make videos about, but that I did get done. So that worked out nice. I did get my bush hog out, and I basically bush hogged a bunch of trees that were here and some little sprouts sticking up. I'll probably come along with my saw and saw them off. I noticed one right next to the tire over here, and I thought, yeah, I don't know if I can go through that old rotted out tire or not, but I should probably come out here and nip them things off. So that was one thing. Another thing is I put drain pipes in front of the garage in the other building. I believe you saw that. And I built up part of the driveway out here with some of the gravel that I had back there. Bill came over yesterday, and he likes to burn stuff, and so I had a big burn pile out back, and he burned the burn pile, and then me and him, I showed him the spot out back. I've been working on, if you look down there amongst the trees, you'll notice there's a little gravel that looks like it goes down into the woods. Well, there's a spot over in the woods, a flat spot. It's a pretty good place to put things that are out of sight. And they don't, you know, I don't like having piles of stuff sitting around because it looks trashy. So we got the trailer, and that's another thing. The trailer used to sit out here, and I don't like it being in a place where it's visible. So we got the trailer. We put a trailer ball on the front of my tractor, the 57 Ford 600, and we brought that up to the edge of the barn where all the piles of, I used to have piles of metal. I had a lot of metal pipe or post. They're actually shelving out of a warehouse, and I thought those would make good studs to build a shed with. And I got them for less than you pay for 2x4 studs nowadays from a metal yard. And I stacked them up there years ago, and then I bought some tin from some fellows that dismantle old chicken houses and sell off the tin and the wood. And I bought some lumber with the idea that I'm going to build a place down in the edge of the woods here to basically store a few things, mostly stuff like the tractor, maybe the boat, tractor implements and things like that. And so we picked up all the tin, and somebody else saw me unloading some of that lumber the other day. By the way, here's the burn pile. It's still smoldering, and I'm going to come over here and stir it in a little bit and try to make sure I burn off all the last little pieces that are up here smoldering. Bill did a good job of bringing that down to a controllable thing there. And I will be cleaning up right around the outside of this door. In fact, I've got these old pieces of wood that were on my trailer when I came down with the hot rod. And I was thinking I could put that wood actually right in front of that door. I could actually put a piece under that and set those on top of that and have a little thing so I could walk into the barn without having to step on that piece of tin and jump across the little ridge here. Nothing wrong with doing that, except you could step on this and slide either the tin or the pine straw and hurt yourself. So I thought, well, I could put a little lip under that door, put these wooden pieces out to it, and just step on that and go in. That gate is the gate that goes on the back of my trailer. It can go back there out of sight. This little cart also is, what I want to do is get me some hard wheels for this cart. Ever since I've had it, it's had no wheels on it, but it's a handy little cart. So that's going to go back here too. And I'm going to get all this in here cleaned out where I can literally mow in here between the trees. If you don't, you get stuff that grows up back here that's all scraggly and thorny and get piles and piles of pine straw, and I think it'd be nice to clean it out. I did cut a bunch of trees right in this area. My thinking is I could probably build a little implement shed right here, and it wouldn't have to be very big, but I could come in here and back the tractor up and unload my my bush hog and my scrape blade and my bucket and different things like that right here. And back in here right now I've got those things over on the other side of this flat spot here, but I may want to build a little shed back here for the tractor or for the boat or for both of them. But here on this trailer is all this stuff that me and Bill piled up on the trailer yesterday. This morning, the first thing I'm going to do is unload all of this. Yesterday I put the steel over there. I'm going to put the tin right in here, and then I'll probably put this wood on top of the tin, because if I build a building, the wood are going to need to come out to me first, and then after that the tin will go on the roof. So that's the way that's working out. And so this is my task for today. And you might ask why I'm keeping all this junk. Well, if you have a welder and a grinder and a cutting torch, good heavy pieces of metal like this, or flat pieces like that, or even some pieces like those old meter boxes over there, that's pretty thick metal. I used a piece of that meter box to weld up the rusted out wheel on that tractor where the valve stem hole had rusted out. So, if you're going to do crafting stuff with metal, then you need some metal, and you need a place to put it so it doesn't junk up your yard. So this is my place to put it, back here out of the way. So that's a lot of what's been going on around here, and that's been keeping me busy between spreading gravel and grading the driveway and the yard and working around the building over there. I graveled around the building and washed the mud off of it and everything. But that's not all. Something else has come up, and I'm going to talk to you about that. And it's going to mean that I'm going to need some more storage space, because Bill has decided to move back down south. He lives almost to Florida. He lives just this side of the state line in South Georgia. And he has decided to sell me the Studebaker, the 32 Studebaker that Mike built. I sold it to Bill because I wanted someone who would take care of it. And me and Bill went to some car shows and stuff, and I actually found myself feeling kind of jealous because it looked so good and he looked so happy riding around in it that I wished I had it. I wished I'd have kept it. So anyway, since he's moving back down there, he doesn't really have a place to keep it, and he's not as, what's the word? He's not as much of a car nut as I am. And there's a certain amount of commitment that you put into, if you've got a car that's 90 years old, even if it does have a late model Corvette engine and running gear in it, it's a responsibility to keep it up, and it takes a little something to drive it. It's not like jumping in your Nissan and throwing the shifter into D and just mashing the gas and steering the wheel with one finger. It takes a little bit more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but it takes a little bit more manliness to drive a car like that, even if it is updated. So the long and the short of it is I'll be getting the Studebaker back, which means I'm going to have the rat rod and the Rambler, which I'm going to be doing an engine swap on, and the 32. So my thinking is I could probably fit all three of them in this garage if I had these trailers out of the back. Oop, there's a piece of chainage. Put that over here. So if you look in this garage right now, if that trailer and that trailer were in a shed out back, there would be room for another car right here, and I could get all three of the hot rod cars indoors here. And so that's my thinking, is put a little shed up back there, put these things in it, put the tractor implements in it, and then put all 3 of the hot rods in here. Not sure how I'm gonna arrange them. Not even sure if they would fit through that door over there. I've got to do some measurements, but that's kind of what I'm planning on. And I'm not sure, you know, I have various different thoughts about, do I really want to have 3 hot rods, and do I really want to let one of them go? And right now I'm thinking, nope, don't want to let any of them go. But we'll see. You know, one of the nice things about it is I was going to kind of race ahead and try to get this engine changed out in the Rambler with that engine that Todd has, before the car show season started down here. But since I'm getting Bill's car, I could just, his car is pretty much ready to go on the road. He took the interior pieces out to paint them, but other than that, that car's ready to go. So I could start out the season driving the 32 Studebaker, and that gives me time to do the engine work on this one. And of course I can always take this one to a car show. This is not a long distance car show kind of car right here, because it doesn't have a roof or a heater or anything like that. So it's the kind of car at the show, it's the kind of car where if there's something going on nearby, I can jump in this and go to it and get back before the rain starts, maybe if I'm lucky. Last time I did that, I wasn't that lucky and I got rained on, as you can see by the spatter on the windshield. Which, the spatter on the windshield isn't bad. You know, one of the things I always admire is a guy that would show up at a car show with a bug spattered windshield, because that just means he's driving a car and it's not a trailer queen. Not a trailer queen that's being drug around on a trailer and kept indoors all the time. It's a real hot rod that's been driven on the street. But if you're in a car in a pouring rain like I was the other day, and it was pouring that day, then that's not the most comfortable thing. So I have a choice. I have a short distance car and a long distance car. That car there, once I get the engine changed, I would not be afraid to drive that car anywhere. That's a very dependable car. The engine that's in it is tired, but I have a new engine to go in it, so that's gonna give me something to work on. And that'll be a kind of a fun process, the process of building that. Well, the motor's already mostly built, so just finish assembling that motor and change it out, and then see what it feels like to drive this one with that motor in it. So those are things that are in the works. There's other things in the works, but those are the main things. So now that you're caught up, I'm going to put the camera back down and go tend to this smoldering fire here, and then go back there and start unloading that trailer. So when I do that, and see, there's plenty to do. I see things that need to be cleaned up still along the edge of the garage. I would like for that to look nice. And I've got some signage. I've got a shell sign that Deadeye Dan gave me, and I got a big Coca-Cola sign that Bobby gave me. And I was thinking, well, if I find the right place to put those signs up, that'd be cool. So, not sure where the right place is yet, but we're working on that. So that's kind of a little update. I may give away that mower. That's the free mower that Larry gave me years ago, and I got by with that for years. And the drive belt is getting loose on it, and that thing is a pain to change the drive belt, because the body doesn't come off the frame, so you have to get that up in the air and crawl under it and reach up in there to change the drive belt, as opposed to this one. This one, you can unbolt this tub and take it off, and then you've got a frame and you can work on it without being underneath it, which is cool. That one, this is a real John Deere, made by the John Deere and sold by the John Deere company. That's a Home Depot / Lowe's John Deere, which is, they're not the same, and they're not even made the same. If you start looking at how they're made, you can tell that pretty quick. So somebody might get lucky enough to get this one. This actually runs quite well, but I might pass it on to someone else since someone passed it on to me. So that's kind of a little summation of where we are and what we're up to and what's going to happen next. Some of y'all are probably tired of watching my basically not that interesting videos, and if you are, I don't blame you. I don't even watch my own videos, so there's that. But with all that said, I'll put the camera down. I'll go tend to that fire a little bit, and then I'll take y'all back there and you can watch me labor as I unload that trailer. If you have any questions, just write it on a piece of paper, wrap it in a $100 bill, send it to Cutworm 59 out in Arkansas, and he will respond immediately to your concerns. Thanks very much. I hope you're having a good day so far, and if you're not, just get over it. Okay? Okay. Bye now.